Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. Today I'm bringing you guys another investment video, and more specifically I wanted to detail the basketball market and the football market right now, and I want to try to predict what's going to happen with the basketball market based on what's happened with the football market. Let's get into the video. And if you're new to the channel, please remember to leave that like and drop a comment down below, and consider subscribing if you would. It really helps out the channel a lot and really means a lot. I'm also going to be leaving my Instagram down below. Go ahead and follow that if you want to. But anyways, let's get into the investments. So as a lot of you know, a lot of the base prisms of Luka, Zion, and Ja have all been on a steady decline since the start of the NBA season. As you can see right here, Luka's were selling for around $1,300 to $1,400 in the beginning of March, and they've been on a steady decline ever since. They've really been on a decline since the start of the season, but Card Ladder only goes back 3 months with the free version, so I can only show you back to about February up until March, as you can see right here. If you look at Zion's prices, they saw a little bit of a bump in the beginning of March when he was tearing it up, but he's still been on a little bit of a decline since then. His Prism's now going for around $500, and Ja Morant has been on a steady decline just like Luka's have as well, bottoming out here at $242, which is absolutely crazy to think about when he was selling for upwards of $500 just a few months back. Now a lot of you may be wondering, is the card market crashing? Is the card market just soft right now? And I wanted to take a look at what the football card market has done since the end of their season, since the NBA season started right around the NFL season ending, so we can kind of get a little bit of a forecast maybe as to what might happen with these basketball cards. So in general, football cards do have quite a bit of a lower population than basketball cards. Basketball cards can have upwards of 10x of some of the similar cards from similar years as football. So right here we can see Josh Allen, his PSA 10 Prism base, very standard card, only a pop count of about 1,000. So this might be a little bit of an indicator as to why this happened in the football market, and it might not be as relevant to the basketball market, but I think it could still follow a similar trend here. So if you go back to about around the Super Bowl time, right here, Josh Allen was selling for just under $800. And even if you go back to January, if you have Card Ladder Pro, you can see that it was even lower at that time once the Bills got knocked out of the playoffs. But ever since the NFL season has ended, NFL cards were typically poised to go down in the offseason like everyone expected. But if everyone expects a certain trend in the market and they try to play off of that, then usually the inverse of that will happen. As we see with football cards here, there was a steady incline and rush right up until the NFL draft. The draft happened about the last week of April, so they kind of peaked out there. They're starting on a little bit of a decline now, just because there's a little bit of a lull between the draft and the regular season start. So that's why we're seeing a bit of a decline here. And if you take a look at Lamar Jackson, it's not as much of an increase as Josh Allen, because his Prism base has always been high. But even $800 right after the Super Bowl, he's had about a 20% increase up to about $1,000, little under $1,000, but still a little bit of an increase when a lot of people thought that football cards would generally decrease in the offseason. Also looking here at Daniel Jones, spiked a lot when the Giants signed Kenny Golladay, so he went up to about $200, but instead of decreasing right after a huge spike, which is normal, he kind of stayed steady around $200 throughout the draft as well. Now he's on a little bit of a decrease because of the draft passing. And if you look at Carson Wentz, similar situation with him too. He got traded to the Colts, and that's why he started off a little bit high here in the 650 to 700 range, fell down to about 400 in March, and then the lead up to the draft, just like the other football cards, topped out at about $800 about a week before the draft, and he's been on a steady decline since. I really try to stress the pop report count and how much that matters when looking for investments in cards, Higher populations are going to need higher demand in that specific card to raise the prices, so that's why I think you've been seeing a lot of decline in the Prism bases of a lot of the superstars or the higher rookies, like Ja Morant with the decline here. 15,700 is just way too much of this card for any sort of demand to pull that up. Same with Luka, even though Luka is super popular, 17,000 Prism base 10s are just way too many for any sort of demand to pull any sort of increase on this card. So looking at Zion's cards, even a population of 790 right here with this green Prism 9, and there's still a steady price right here, and that's held fairly consistent throughout the decline. So if you look for lower population cards, it would be more likely that those cards hold value over the course of the long term. And even on a sharp decline like this right here, from the end of March till the first week of April, from 385 down to 215, I had a fairly knee-jerk reaction within a week after that, going right back up to 390. With cards with lower pops like this, you have much more chance for knee-jerk reactions like this, from 385 down to 215, down to back up to 390. So if you had this card around here, you could have sold it for about $400 maybe, and you could have bought it back at like the next week's card show for as low as 200 or 225, and then come back a week later and sell it back for 375, 400. Lower population really does matter when looking at investments. Even when you look at this silver mosaic Zion PSA 9, it has a third of the pop count as the green Prism here, and a little bit more of that reaction. Steady decline, kind of like his base Prism. Could have got it for 225 to 250 right here. A little bit of a jump up to 400, and a little bit of a decline to 222, just like the green Prism. So there's a lot more steadiness, just like the other cards, but as soon as he gets injured or as soon as he has a really outstanding game, you're going to see the spikes and the crashes more consistently in the lower pop cards than you are in the higher pop cards. So that's going to do it for this week's investment video. Haven't uploaded one of these in a while. I hope you guys take as much of this information as you can, and hopefully you can apply it to making smart investments. And I really do believe that the basketball card market can follow the same trend as the football card market, as long as you're looking at those lower population cards. I think it's very important to have lower population versus the standard base Prisms of a lot of these rookie cards. So take that into account when you're looking for investments. Always look for those lower populations. But anyways, that's going to do it for the video. Please remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos for any future sports card content. But anyways, I'm out.